Welcome to the NTN Nightly. I'm Nisha Charles. This edition's top stories. The Government of Saint Lucia to implement a multi-disciplinary approach to managing the coronavirus threat. The ECCB to lead the digital transformation of the Eastern Caribbean. And the mental health software helps to better manage juvenile cases. The Government of Saint Lucia is working closely with the Ministry of Health and Wellness along with other relevant agencies to implement a multidisciplinary approach to manage the threat of the novel coronavirus. On Tuesday, Cabinet received an update from the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Charon Belma George, and the island's Health Minister, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac. The Ministry of Health and Wellness held a press conference Tuesday morning to update the public on its coordinating efforts.
The Department of Health and Wellness has enhanced its preparedness and response plans as Saint Lucia braces for the potential impact of the coronavirus. The virus was first confirmed in Wuhan, China. As of February 3, 2020, a total of 17,391 cases have been confirmed, with 17,238 in China and 153 cases outside of China in 23 different countries. National epidemiologist Dr. Michelle Fassois explained that St. Lucia has since strengthened its surveillance.
Currently, we are relying on our weekly surveillance. We do syndromic surveillance in St. Lucia where we report cases of flu-like symptoms. We rely on that, but we also strengthening our surveillance to detect any case of coronavirus. We do have a case definition circulating, which has been circulated to physicians and healthcare professionals, so that in addition to persons presenting with signs and symptoms, they also have they also ask a history of where that individual has been or whether they have been in contact with somebody who has traveled outside of St. Lucia and more than likely in China. Persons who we have not had any confirmed cases in St. Lucia, we have not had any cases in the region as yet. However, we do have measures in place for individuals. So if we do get a suspected case, we have identified an isolation facility where that person will be managed.
There are nurses stationed at the airports who are responsible for conducting surveillance of incoming passengers. Chief Environmental Health Officer Pakarak Nanan indicated that the travel history of individuals coming into the ports is very important in the department's detection of the virus.
We are collaborating with our other partners at the border, including customs and immigration, to be able to share information and be able to determine whether there is somebody that is coming, especially now, out of China. And once we have had that information, the travel history, that passenger is actually taken off the general flow of clearance and is taken into a holding room where they are monitored, their vital signs are done, and they are questioned and information is taken. And a determination is made whether that person is presenting any signs of symptoms of the flu. If that is made, then a decision will be made in terms of quarantine that person at a medical institution. If the person does not show any sign of symptom, the decision at this point in time is to do home quarantine for that individual.
The Department of Health and Wellness has noted the escalation in the classification of the outbreak and is taking measures to restrict the possible entry of coronavirus disease into St. Lucia and protect its citizens. In that regard, the Government of St. Lucia will not allow any non-national with a travel history within the last 14 days from mainland China, whether in transit or originating, to enter any local port as of 12 a.m. on Tuesday, February 4, 2020. Any national returning to St. Lucia with similar travel history will be quarantined for 14 days. For the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank has collaborated with the World Bank to formulate a program which will lead to the digital transformation of the Eastern Caribbean. The ECCB is a strong advocate for a vibrant digital economy within the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, the ECCU. To this end, a team from the World Bank visited St. Lucia from January 23rd to 24th for a pre-appraisal mission in preparation for the Caribbean Digital Transformation Program. Glenn Simon has this report.
The Departments of Finance and the Public Service hosted a technical team from the World Bank on a pre-appraisal mission which involved multi-stakeholder consultations in readiness for the implementation of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Program. The program aims to strengthen the digital economy in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union (ECCU), support regional collaboration to create common standards, regulations, policies and shared public investments, and create economies of scale. It is also expected to ease access to new markets and make the region a more attractive digital investment destination. The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council (NCPC) in the Department of Finance coordinated the stakeholder consultations. The NCPC and the Department of the Public Service will also provide assistance in the finalization of activities under the program. Executive Director of the NCPC, Fiona Hinkson, outlined the major objectives of the Digital Transformation Program.
So there are basically three main components to this program. You have the digital ecosystem, which speaks to telecommunications, cybersecurity, and financial services. The second component, which looks at digital infrastructure, where you speak to how you modernize the government. And so for this project, we'll be looking at the various gaps in our digital framework. And finally, you have the digital skills and entrepreneurship, where you will be upskilling the population as well as assisting the private sector in adopting new technology that will assist them in their business processes.
The World Bank team comprised specialists in telecommunications, digital public services, private sector development, entrepreneurship and skills development, including a gender specialist to ensure equal access across all genders. Casey Togerson is the co-team leader and senior digital development specialist with the World Bank.
So we're here to talk about how to grow the digital economy of St. Lucia as a driver of growth, of economic productivity and diversification, and as a way to improve service delivery to citizens, making sure that people have access to all the information globally that's available now on the internet, as well as access to digital services and job opportunities that can be available online.
This phase of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Program covers 4 countries including Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica and St. Lucia. The World Bank team interacted with multiple stakeholders from both the private and public sectors.
We've had a good opportunity to get a sense of a lot of the unique initiatives that are happening across government as well as in the private sector. And there seems to be a lot of interest in the digital space, both from a service delivery perspective but also from the private sector perspective. I think there's really an untapped potential here in St. Lucia and across the wider region to use technology to reach new markets and create some more dynamism in the economy that may have been missing today.
Implementation of the program will be at both the country and regional level. The ECCB is designated as the lead regional agency. Other regional partners include the OECS Commission and the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, with advisory support from the Caribbean Telecommunications Union. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
St. Lucia joins the rest of the world on Tuesday, February 4 to commemorate World Cancer Day with the slogan, I am and I will. According to the Chief Medical Officer's report for 2017, in St. Lucia, the data profile shows cancer as the #1 cause of death, 229 or 21%. This profile also revealed that women lost more years of living than men to cancer. Health educator Nadej Smith-Lambert, along with the Department of Health and Wellness, encourages everyone to commit to strengthening personal actions that will reduce the impact of cancer.
Cancer can be prevented and controlled by implementing evidence-based strategies for cancer prevention, screening and early detection, treatment and care that improves the quality of life of patients and their families facing the problems associated with cancer. The risk factors for cancer and are also the 4 shared risk factors for other non-communicable diseases are tobacco use, unhealthy diet, alcohol use, lack of physical activity, including exercise.
To further highlight the day, the Department of Health and Wellness encouraged everyone to actively join in the campaign by wearing a color which represents a cancer that has affected a family member or close friend.
Additionally, all are asked to make a commitment to engage in one positive, healthy lifestyle activity on World Cancer Day or during the course of the week, starting from Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. Example, no added sugar, add 10 minutes to your regular workouts, no tobacco use, drink more water, get recommended 8 hours of sleep. Cancer can affect anyone, but can be prevented or its impact reduced if we actively engage in healthy lifestyle activities.
And that was health educator Nadej Smith-Lambert. This is the NTN Nightly. We'll be back in a moment.
The Ministry of Tourism is working alongside the Department of Statistics to develop St. Lucia's Tourism Satellite Account, TSA. The Tourism Satellite Account is an internationally established method of measuring the direct contributions of tourism to our national economy. This will help the government in developing effective policy for the industry. If you are in the business of tourism, the ministry needs your help in collecting critical data necessary for this tourism satellite account. Let's all help to develop and improve our economy. All tourism-related establishments are asked to contact the ministry at 468-5393 before Friday, the 28th of February for further information specific to their business.
Welcome back. A data gathering tool is seeking to help institutions who work with juveniles better manage their cases for more effective outcomes. Scribe is a mental health software and includes features such as appointment reminders, appointment scheduling, assessment and treatment plans, which give all the relevant parties access to the same information. Recently, a refresher course was conducted for the use of the software. The senior mental health counselor at the Boys Training Center says the importance of the tool cannot be overemphasized.
It is one thing when you're working with children and families to have a child before you in your office or on your counseling couch. It is one thing to have that child there. It is another thing to have the relevant data that would have been part of the child's life since birth. And what we know is that if we do not have a solid history as to what factors would have been impacting children, then we're not in a good position to effectively work with such populations. So the more information you have from all angles will help the person who is working with the child to be more effective.
Fiona Noel Shalry is a probation officer and says the software is necessary in the juvenile justice system.
This program is very significant, especially as we're looking at the juvenile justice system. It captures all of the data as it relates to the juvenile or the client that we're dealing with, looking at family background, presenting problems, assessments, psychological assessment, mental health, medical issues, every aspect of the client, education.
Director of the Upton Garden Girls Center, Jacqueline Messiah Simeon, says Scribe is a critical part of the organization's collaboration with other agencies.
As it stands, we often require finding somebody, looking for a caseworker. With Scribe, because the information is there for everyone, then I'm able to get ease of collaboration. So this particular workshop not only provides for us to learn how to do that collaboration, but at least here we're also getting the faces of our team members across agencies.
And that was Director of the Upton Garden Girls Center, Jacqueline Messiah Simeon. Every year, the Prime Minister of Saint Lucia hosts the Independence Ball, in which the proceeds are donated to several charities. On Monday, Cabinet Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister, Benson Emmanuel, presented a check of $4,000 on behalf of the Prime Minister to the Saint Lucia Animal Protection Society SLAPS from the proceeds raised at the 2019 Independence Ball.
We are extremely delighted to be able to make this presentation of a small check to SLAPS, an organization that's doing a tremendous work in St. Lucia. We are pleased that coming out of the proceeds of the Prime Minister's Independence Ball, that the contribution could have been made to a very worthy organization that is making a very worthwhile contribution to the development of St. Lucia. In fact, it is often said, if you want to know what is the heart and soul of a people, of a community, it is how they treat with and take care of animals. And your organization, over the years with limited resources, has really demonstrated its commitment to the welfare of animals.
Founder of SLAPS, Pamela DeVoe, expressed gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister for the donations received.
We've been going for 21 years now, and we just want to continue what we're doing. We are in the process of looking for new quarters for our dogs that we have. We've rescued and rehabilitated and rehomed a lot of dogs over the years. We just want to continue what we're doing. The main thrust, apart from the rescue, is spaying and neutering, and this is a continuing program, and hopefully if we can continue and broaden out of the north, because we're mainly in the north, we can then get the population of the unwanted animals reduced. This money will help us with our continuing spay and neuter program, with our feeding. We feed the dogs and cats good food so we can get them good homes.
The annual Prime Minister's Independence Ball for 2020 will take place on the 22nd of February. And stay with the NTN Nightly. We'll be right back.
Saint Lucia! Are you ready for the National Independence Parade? Celebrate our independence in a grand way this February 22nd, starting at the SAB in VG. Come experience a true Saint Lucian spectacle with amazing floats, traditional dancers, musicians, and more. Led by the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force and include communities, ministries, and business houses. Join in the excitement and let's show the best of St. Lucia. Now is the time. Let's do this together.
Welcome back. And here's a look at what's happening to us weather-wise.
Fair and hazy skies becoming cloudy at times with a few scattered showers, mainly over the Leeward Islands. Over the rest of the region, it will be fair to partly cloudy and hazy with a few showers. The Atlantic high-pressure system will continue to generate moderate to brisk easterly winds across the eastern Caribbean region over the next few days. An area of Saharan dust haze will continue to cause a reduction in visibility over the region for the next couple of days. A frontal trough will cause some showery periods over the northern Lesser Antilles over the next 24 hours. Elsewhere, generally fair weather will prevail. The tide for Castries Harbour was low at 6:45 p.m. and will be high again at 1:39 a.m. The tide for Vieux Bay was high at 12:24 p.m. and will be low again at 8:12 a.m. The seas moderate with waves and swells 4 to 6 feet or 1.2 to 1.8 meters. The sun will rise Wednesday at 6:30 a.m.
And that brings us to the end of the NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the St. Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I'm Nisha Charles.